lights are too bright.
Lights are too bright? Am I on, Mike?
Trying to make me up.
Good afternoon. I'm Barbara McCovic, Marketing and Communications with Jewish Hospital, a part of KentuckyOne Health. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for another historic moment at Jewish Hospital. Surgeons from Kleinert and Kutz Hand Care Center and the Christine M. Kleinert Institute for Hand and Microsurgery have once again demonstrated their world-renowned expertise in caring for hands. Dr. Joseph Kutz led a team of 24 surgeons to perform a hand transplant on our 8th patient, Ronald Thurmand, a 56-year-old Marion, Indiana resident. Amazing. Dr. Kutz and your team, we applaud you. I would now like to ask Dr. Kutz, partner with Kleinert and Kutz and director of the Kleinert Institute, to provide you with some background on the patient, an update, and how the surgery went last night and this morning. Dr. Kutz.
Thank you.
And you can speak right from there if you'd like.
Okay. Is this on? Okay. Well, thank you all for your attention. We feel very privileged that you feel that this is still of interest. As you know, we've been trying to, considering this was our 8th person, and we're going to be celebrating our 13th year on our first-hand patient on March the 1st when he's coming back to town. But this gentleman here was a farmer from Indiana. He had lost his arm in an auger accident when he and his brother were working on a machine. He was near the end of the machine and trying to get something fixed, and his brother didn't realize he was not out of position, so he turned it on and he caught his right hand. And unfortunately lost his right hand up to above the wrist. He had been working with a prosthesis for years, but unfortunately, and as he said, it was nothing but a nuisance, and it was not a substitute for his hand. So we have been working with him for about 4 years now. There's the possibility of having a transplant done. And as he and his wife said, they did get a Valentine's gift because we had a donor we got a call from Texas. They had a donor who was willing to provide his hands as well as his heart, liver, and lungs and kidneys, which are usually done. And it was, I believe, a 22-year-old gentleman who was in some type of motor vehicle accident that cost him his life. He was brain dead, and the family wanted to have him known through his donations. Anyway, we sent a team out yesterday about 6 o'clock to Houston by flight. They had a little diversion because we couldn't land at one airport because of the cloudiness, or actually stormy episodes, so they had to go to the main Houston airport to land. Dr. TM was with that team, and he was the one that recovered it. Period. We both the patient and the hand arrived back here about the same time, somewhere around 12:15, 12:30 yesterday. After going through the usual situations of trying to make sure the matches is okay and everything else is okay, we started on dissecting out the hand about an hour and a half or 2 hours before we were able to work onto the patient. And finally, I believe it was about 7:35, something like that, last evening that we were able to start on the patient. Period. The patient had a little bit of a problem in the fact that he, again, this is one thing we don't know about transplants like this, is we don't know what the condition of the arm is in, even though he had worked for years with his arm, and his flexor surface had been built up very nicely. You could almost feel the muscles and things that would work there as you ask him to bended, his dorsal surface was not. We found that he only had three good tendons, or three tendons in the dorsal surface that we could use to get all the function of the lifting the fingers up and lifting the hand up. So it was kind of a challenge to get these to working. And then he had a little blood pressure problem, which was going back and down, and he had a good loss of blood during the procedure, because once you start and hook up the blood vessels, you don't want to put the tourniquet back up again. And in a situation like that, there was a lot of oozing, and the patient has had a little blood pressure problem symptom. He's still in ICU right now. He's still on some blood pressure medication and things too going. His hand looks good, as we're a long way from knowing what's going to function is going to be. But at this point, he's doing well. There is some, we further feel, because of the fact that he had the length of time of ischemia, that we're going to try to use the hyperbaric chamber when he gets stabilized with his blood pressure. And I want to thank I want to thank all the people that helped us last night. We had Ezra Demand, she's this surgical tech, Martha Nixon's a surgical tech, Turkin Campton's RN, Kathy Ivers an RN, Tanya Norris was a CRNA, and Dr. Yunkin, who is an anesthesiologist. Our fellows who from the Christine Kleinert Institute was Dr. Sheppel, Dr. Alvius, Dr. Lee, Dr. Luna Korn, Dr. Ron Piazzo, Dr. Oren, Dr. Carcinero, Dr. Lee, as I said once. She's down twice because she she was our scribe, so I guess that's why she wrote herself down twice. But anyway, Dr. Almirandi, Dr. Rowe, and Dr. Poe, and then as myself, Dr. TM, Dr. Schecker, Dr. Tuna, and Dr. Manos Montos, Dr. Sai, and Dr. Marino. As you know, it's a team effort that helps us concede. Each man worked, we rotated probably in 2-hour shifts in order to accomplish things. Plans were laid out, and it just moved along pretty smoothly up until the time that we really thought when we got started that we'd be through about 4 in the morning, until we ran into these complications of not having parts in the arm that we had to work around. But we're very happy at this point. He seems to be doing well, and we feel that we'll have our 9th successful one. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer any of them. The chemotherapy was added by Rosemary here. You want to say something?